Okay, still says I'm offline. Alright. Seems to be buffering. How are we doing? Well, I have now completely restarted all of the things, so if that was gonna work, it should work now. I suppose I did not turn the lights off, but, you know, in terms of OBS and other streaming things. It looks smoother on my end. I hope that's better. Alright. Then I will carry on and hope for the best, I guess. Oh well. Any viewers I had, I lost. That's okay. Man, 9 minutes in. Okay, well, I'm just gonna get rolling then. Gotta keep going. Gotta do the thing. Good news, the whole point of doing this was I could have an intro straight up thing, so this part's done. Gonna get a little bit off of this. And we can see if this actually is smoothed out. So... now that part can clean really fast. Cool. Alright, I'm just gonna leave those for a moment. Alright. That's okay. Alright. So, man, rocky start. Oh, hey, and I think my cake is done, but as long as my moderator has that too, we're good there. Cake not appearing in this feed. I'm gonna eat it afterward because I deserve cake. So I might as well just get right to messing around with epoxy, which was kind of my big hope for today. I do not know if my epoxy is going to work. I had actually kind of intended to go out and buy new stuff, and I was like, I might as well try it. Let's see if it's terrible. And so I do have gloves. Epoxy is really horrible stuff anyway, on a good day. And then having stuff that has gotten a bit weird, I don't know, I just don't want it on myself, so that's okay. These are vinyl gloves. They're like food surface gloves. I use them usually when I'm chopping up hot peppers, but they work for this. And then I have a very, very high-end mixing board that I cut out of a shipping box because my whole life gets delivered these days. So, I got that part, and here's the part that's a little weird. So I don't know if it's been leaking exactly, or if, like, it's changing state. I don't know if JB Weld goes bad. So, we'll see. That's exciting. Everybody wants a little drama on whatever they're watching on the internet. So the drama today is, ew, and will this work? Good times. And the JB Weld I'm specifically mixing up because I have a couple of things that are metal or metal adjacent, which I could solder maybe, but solder doesn't work well if something's painted or if it has wood or various other things. So JB Weld is just like, it's like a nice middle of the road, but works with metal. Okay. So to recap, directions: just squeeze out equal amounts from each tube and mix thoroughly. Allow 4 to 6 hours to set. Allow to set overnight before putting object to use. Sounds pretty standard. Totally down with this. Alright, I can get the cap off. That's cool. How separated and gross are you? A bit separated and gross. Oop. Okay. Yeah, so like that's probably not normal. But whatever. It's fine, I'm sure. So, and then a basically equal quantity of the good stuff. It's always hard to get an equal amount when they are different textures. That might be too much. Oh man, it's really sticking to my hands. Ugh, I'm so glad I'm wearing gloves. Well, we'll see. I think there's a good shot at this. Alright. Okay, Sunini, I'm glad to know that I am smooth as silk now. Alright, so classic epoxy setup. You have your two blobs, they're roughly equal, and you mix them together, and once you mix them together, they become the thing. So right now, they're still, like, sticky, but they're not exactly doing what I want. So I'll just mix these guys up. I am using an old chopstick because I am high quality. Alright, well, that's probably epoxy. I mean, using Jimmy Weld in the past, it's fairly forgiving. So if I'm not exact, I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's see, who do I want to start with? I'm going to start with the decorative item. The cute thing. So I have this guy. Cute little Christmas decoration. It's interesting because I'm not 100% sure where this guy goes. There is an obvious bit here where paints come off. I almost wonder if I'm missing more of it. Because this matches one of these guys. Oh, maybe I shouldn't start with this. Yeah, I'm going to take these gloves off. At least one of the gloves off. Maybe I shouldn't repair this guy. I feel like I'm missing something. Or I can just glue it on for funny and not worry about it too much. So if I stick it on, like, yay, still has a good profile. Ah, let's just stick it on the deer. What could possibly go wrong? Since it's a totally usable Christmas decoration right now. Man, I'm gonna have to come back to that. I like the idea of it being there. Oh, we'll come back to that one. Because I have to have it set up a little bit. And I think the other things I'll be able to set down a little bit easier. I have a couple different projects here because I think some of this is going to go really fast, which I'm, glad of. So this one's fun. Oh, wow, look how dusty this is. This is a, like a wok stir-fry implement that I've had for years, and it finally just gave up and came out of the wooden handle. So I'll be really glad if I can get this guy back in. So let's see. So this is a really, really, really tight connection anyway. So I definitely don't need to like slather this on. Basically, need to just take a little bit and put it in the bottom. That's probably enough. And you can actually see the old like rust line for how as far as it used to go in. So let's see if I can get that guy in. Oh man. Alright. So there, that's just set. So I shouldn't use that for a day, at least. But then I get to have this really nice tool back. Ooh, I should screw this on so the bolt is even. There's a little loop on the back. So if I was going to hang it on the wall, I'd want it to be even. Yeah. Cool. That one's done. Easy peasy. Okay. Epoxy's great. It works or it doesn't. It's real fast and real secure. So this guy, I thought about trying to get little rivets or something, but I'd have to drill, and I don't want to. So this, you can kind of see the three little holes from the original connection. So and then on the handle you can see the 3 little places where it used to be welded on. So if I can just get those to like reline up. The metal is actually slightly bent. Ooh. Did not see that coming. But the adhesive is JB Weld. Ancient, gnarly, weird JB Weld. So we're going for the big guns today. Also, hi Shard Mom, good to see you. Man, okay. So my current thing is this is a really rough connection here. So I think what I actually want to do is get my metal file out, which I had not anticipated, but perhaps I should have. One of my metal files. Okay. So this might make just a terrible sound. I don't know how this is going to sound for internet people, but you know. Oh, that already feels better. Whatever final moments had caused the handle to shear off had clearly left behind goo. So I don't think I'm going to get this completely clear just because it's kind of rounded. I do have a round file somewhere, but I don't necessarily want to take the time to go dig it out. Yeah. And I really don't need this to be completely flat since there is an opening, analogous opening on the measuring cup. It'd just be nice to have it not like interfering. You know, I have needs. I have little basic needs. Well, it's got a wobble, but that actually feels a lot better. Like, it's not just sliding around now. So, I'm just gonna slop just a ton of adhesive on here and move on with my day. Should be fine. So, put my JB Weld on here. I think the weirdest thing that I have attempted to glue with JB Weld is a tin, not model exactly, a tin negative of a anthill. So what you can do is pour molten tin into an anthill, and it will flow into all the little passageways and stuff of the ants' hill, killing them, you know, I guess horribly. But then you let it cool, and the next day you dig it up, and you have an exact negative space imprint of your anthill. And so it's a cool, like, education object, if slightly grim. So we had one where a big branch of it had kind of come off because, of course, the ants had not been thinking about things like strength of the negative space of their anthill. So it was a little weird. Okay. So I just have to hold this on. The spatula I've already glued, I didn't need to hold in place because it's in a tube, so it basically just worked. But this guy I'll hold for a minute. And using epoxy is nice, because when it goes, it just goes. And then it's just on, and it just works. But it's like a lot of waiting until that moment, actually, that magical transformative moment actually occurs. I keep sliding a little bit. Okay, so trying to hold that steady. Okay, my face cam was a little off. Sorry about that. I keep tweaking the setup. I've added a new light. I hope that helps. I really like this work area enough that I've started to do just projects over here whenever, which is, of course, kind of the point, I would argue. So that's been really pretty nice. Man, yeah, this is sliding. It's kind of doing a thing where I'm applying some pressure to it just to try and hold it tightly into a spot, and it actually causes it to sort of creep along. Not what I want. So the outside of my measuring cup is getting just a kind of comical amount of epoxy on it, which is not good. But it's okay. Eventually I will be able to measure 1/2 cups again, which is delightful. I actually do now have an entire additional measuring cup set because 1/2 cup is a really commonly used measurement. Like, 1/3 cup, nah, you know, you can kind of get away with not having that, but 1/2 cups are a lot of things. So I do have another measuring cup set, but sometimes I have, like, a recipe that calls for multiple different things that are measured in 1/2 cup measurements, and it's actually super nice to have different 1/2 cups, so I can put, like, oil in one and dry stuff in the other, or whatever. Apparently, my stage directions about my face cam I'm doing wrong. So, sorry about that. Hope you guys can more or less see me. But yeah, you'll have to give me stage right and stage left, dear moderator. Is this starting to thicken up? This might actually do a thing in a minute. We shall see. And then, I'm pretty much done with epoxy. Once I got this guy done, I really only had, like, the 2.5 things to worry about with epoxy. So, after this, I'm moving on to wood glue. And for wood glue, I've got a couple of really wacky projects, which I've been meaning to do for some time, so I'm looking forward to that. Not pictured on today's stream will be the other wood glue project I have, which is a dang chair, which there is no really phenomenal way for me to film that and do it. Like, yeah, the setup would be bad, so just take my word for it. I'm also going to glue a chair. But man, I can feel this is starting to set up. Stage left. Okay, stage left is this way. Or no, so you want me to move to stage right. We need to work on these cues. We would do badly if we had an actual stage. You know, so maybe it's good we don't. The first one. Stage left. Delightful. Alright. I have now moved stage left to be more in my camera view. So I think my favorite thing... No, I'm the one on stage. So it's from my point of view as being on the stage. Well, whatever, I don't care. If we're good, we're good. So I was going to say, my favorite thing that I've ever used this type of epoxy on is a little stone or a concrete gargoyle that I have on my balcony. His wing broke off. But we don't use JB Weld on fossils. There's a different 2-part epoxy that's just kind of like clearish, opaque, like just sort of an unattractive, not white. But it holds your fossils together real good. And then the one that I haven't tried, which we were talking about last week, was like an epoxy putty, which I am super curious about, but have not taken the time to acquire and play with. But I've seen people do it, so epoxy putty is definitely on my list of things I want. I noticed that Twitch has an extension that you can add to your About page, which would be an Amazon wish list. And I think I might get weird with putting all the tools on there I wish I had. So none of it's necessary. Like, if I need something, I'll go get it. But, like a Boxy Putty, I could do some weird stuff with that. That could be really fun. I would really love a Dremel tool. You know, I don't need it. Alright, good. This is starting to set. It's gotten to the point now where I can... If I let go, it sags instead of just liquidy bloops off. So that's pretty nice. So. Pseudo9, you're the best. Thank you. I'm glad to know that I was correct in the perspective. I mean, what? You haven't been on stage since you were a flying monkey in, like, the 5th grade, right? Not that I've done that. I worked on stages later than that. It's not on stage. Also, dear moderator, your use of emojis is very on point today. Super appreciate that. Okay. So this is close. Yep, little sag. Can't quite let it go. Hold that for a minute more. Ah, okay, 7th grade, my bad. I wasn't there, so, you know, my memory is foggy. So, Shard Mom, if you're still on, once I have my hands free, I brought some additional show and tell ceramics that I thought you would like. That I don't know if you've seen. Man, this is just taking its time. Epoxy. It works or doesn't. So it's also we're talking about Saturday. So Saturday I am going to be doing taxidermy. I'm pretty excited. I've got some, like, final setup things I've got to figure out with my computer, because obviously I don't want to, like, touch my computer after I get going on Raw Bird. So I've got to play with a couple things. I might, like, literally get super classy and just put a layer of saran wrap over it. You know, it does the thing. And you, my dear viewers, would not be able to see said saran wrap over the keyboard and mouse of my computer, so that could probably work. And then I was thinking about what surface I want to work on it on, because when you're doing taxidermy, I barely touch the surface at all, and it won't get anything on it particularly. But, you know, you want to be ready. You don't want to have something that would be actually bad if something actually bad was to happen. So I have some, like, really big serving platters that I might use, so I have a nice non-porous hard surface. Something that can go through a dishwasher and get sanitized, and because it's just raw meat. You can eat a quail. So it's not like I'm doing anything really weird. Moderately weird. But not really, really weird. Man, my hand is going numb. This better set pretty soon. Don't worry, Shard Mom. Soon. Soon we'll do a fun show and tell. Oh, and I'm happy to say for the stuff that I repaired last week, I'm super happy with how it all came out. I've been using the 2 bowls and the mug. The napkin holder has not actually been put back into service yet. But, oh, grim. But once we get some napkins, I have every faith that it would work out. Saturday, probably still only the 2 hours. The 2-hour blobs are working really well for me. I don't want to be on too long and get weird and tired. That doesn't really do anybody any good. And the little bird in question, I'm not going to 100% taxidermy it in one sitting. I might be able to, but that's not my goal. My goal is just get him skinned out, which, depending on how much I'm chatting and other things, shouldn't take too long. Because I really want to spend a lot of time actually making the body mount. And so I have to sculpt the body form that it would go on, the skin will go onto. I was tempted to do that first, but I think I want to, like, people want to see the actual process of skinning, so I'll start with that because it's exciting. And then I'll work on the 3D modeling. But, oh, this is taking forever. I wonder if it's not going to mix. Because at this point I would have expected it to be more than just a little tacky. Which is, it's possible it's not going to work. So yeah, Saturday I'm doing it in the evening, so that's more of a 7 to 9 Central Time. And I personally really don't think it's going to take me 2 hours to actually skin the whole thing. I'm hoping that enough people will be on that I could be answering questions and stuff, because it's weird. Yeah. We'll just have to see what people are interested in. I do not know if this is going to work. I'm not getting enough of a change. I'm going to try adding a little bit more of the hardener to it, because that's the one thing I thought I was a little bit low on. And, let me put my other glove back on. Because I don't want this stuff on me. It's gross. Little disquieting. So something I do need to invest in is just a decent box of disposable, like, nitrile or latex gloves. These vinyl gloves do the thing. And again, I chop peppers wearing them. They're fine. But I could do better. Okay, so I don't want to add a ton more. I think I do want to add some. And who knows, maybe this is just the worst idea, but what am I going to do, break it? Okay. That's probably too much, but again, meh. My stakes here are pretty low. I'm hoping once I get all this old stuff out of the way, I can start doing new projects with, like, stuff that's not just broken, but I'm, like, making into something. But you gotta get the old stuff out of the way first, and of course it's a great opportunity to practice, such as, does this epoxy work at all, and do I remember how to use it? Yeah, so, little things. Shard Mom, to answer your question, the 3D modeling is not gross. No, not at all. So I'd still probably do that mostly on the Saturday taxidermy thread, because it's a direct taxidermy related thing. But no, it's just me making a wire frame and wrapping it with cotton and cabling and Excelsior and stuff to make it in the shape of a little jicky. So actually doing the modeling is easy. It's not until I put the skin back on that it involves any animal bits, and even then, that part's not gross. Some people might not like it, but it looks like I'm putting a little, like, chicken jacket on a little chicken model. Which, I wouldn't describe that as gross. Maybe strange. Which I respect. Because when I'm doing taxidermy at the museums, I am usually just doing a steady skin, which is, like, super easy. It's basically a lozenge or a Twinkie shape of cotton that goes inside the skin, and you sew it up and you're done. So I'm not doing that at home because I'm not doing study skins. Study skins are for studying, and so anything I'm working on here would be not a data animal, particularly. And so instead I have to make the cute little sculpture of what it looked like when it was alive. So you have to make the body model, like, stand up, if it's a quail, stand up on 2 little feet, and have a neck that maybe looks off to the side slightly. Things like that. So it's about taking just, wire and string and stuff like that and making a form. And then once that's set, then you slip the skin on over it. And then sew the skin on. But then after that, it's an adorable little quail. And so hypothetically, if I do a good job, that part's really attractive. And won't freak people out at all because it looks like an adorable little quail. And Chinese painted quails are very, very cute. They're I have to double check this. They're one of the smallest, if not the smallest species of quail. And so they just look like little, like, people think they're chicks running around when they see the adults because they're just absurdly adorable small. And so I've got 2 adults who had been pets and are now done being pets, sadly. But I don't know, I don't think this is gonna work. Alright, it is 1:38. I'm gonna give this 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes would put us at 1:43. So, yes, chicken soup is totally a technical term. I don't think this is working. I'll just give a few more minutes, but I think my JB Weld has gone off. Did not know for certain that was a thing. Because there was a change. It went from being really liquidy to, like, you know, more like Elmer's glue consistency. But it's not just doing the setup, you know. I can't tell that it's definitely changing since it started doing that a couple minutes ago. So, I have to give it a minute. So, we're almost done. I will go to 4 more minutes from now. And if this hasn't set up, then I'm going to declare this round bad, which means that what I want to do is give this 24 hours to dry or do whatever it's going to do. If it's still tacky, I'm probably going to have to hit it with some sort of weird cleaner. And then buy new JB Weld. Which is fine. Because again, I have another half cup measure. I just would have really liked this one back. So. So, regarding the spatula that I repaired first with this, I'm less worried about that because tension was already kind of holding that into place, and so even if there's kind of meh unset epoxy in there, I don't think it's going to harm anything. But this is not acting right. Luckily, my wood glue is actually fairly new, so I know that part's going to work out great. But oh, well, and then, so my weekend is busy. Saturday I'm going to be skinning a little quail, and then Sunday morning I'm cooking again. I was asking some friends what they thought I should make on Sunday, and the enthusiastic response was shakshuka, which is eggs baked in tomato sauce. And rubbish. And I've had various baked eggs in tomato base. Like, that's just a really good, solid food win. And so I have a recipe. I'm going to make that. And it's funny because it calls for canned tomatoes, because a lot of things do, because canned tomatoes are yummy and useful. But I actually have just a blinding ton of fresh tomatoes that really could use using right now. And so I'm going to cook those tomatoes up to be more like a can of diced tomatoes. And then I'll cook that into the sauce for the shakshuka. I don't think this is working. Give us 2 more minutes. Because just the action of trying to hold it in one spot isn't working because it's remaining so slippery and liquidy that the epoxy's like not doing anything. Man, where's my Fossil Lab manager when I need her? Connie would know what to do. Connie is presumably cleaning a fossil, so, you know. Ugh. Yeah, like, look at this huge splat mark I've made as the epoxy just slides all over the place and is not setting at all. Yeah, it's tacky. It's not doing anything. Alright, I'm gonna say that my adhesive has gone off, which is a bummer, but not utterly shocking. Because this should have done something by now. So, I'm gonna throw away the throwawayable parts. That's a terrible way to phrase that. In with these chemicals. And then these... keep away from children. It doesn't say exactly how you dispose of that, so I'm gonna have to look up if there's a special rule for getting rid of Funko epoxy. I can see that going either way. Alright, so... put you to the side. Scrape off as much of this as I can. I'm gonna throw my... ooh, actually, you know what? I should break this. So, my stirring stick, go in there. Okay, so that's not 100% clean, but JB Weld can be filed to an extent, so if I really wanted to work with that, I can kind of machine it down. And then... excess off there. Yeah, it's just sticky, which is weird. Alright, so get that out. Alright, that didn't work. Moving on. So, I'm still going to assume that, again, this guy's fine and not over worry about it. I'm sure that'll be a spatula when next I look. Alright, so Shard Mom, I told you I was going to show you one extra piece of ceramics. And for anybody else who was watching, when I was preparing stuff before, I had black pottery from Oaxaca, Mexico. And this is a really, like, classic tourist thing that you can buy when you go to that village. We were there specifically for Day of the Dead in November, and so we got this really cool carved skull, and this guy, you can see, sustained a little bit of damage on the trip home, but drifting stage right. There. See? Now we have our stage directions correct. But this guy's back, and then I found out that I was actually incorrect about how this color comes about. So I had been told, or I'd heard years ago, that it was from putting pretty noxious petroleum products on here, and I'm incorrect. So this is naturally like a dark gray clay. And to make it this shiny, iridescent, gorgeous black, the artisans actually partially fire the ceramic, pull it out of while it's still hot, rub it with, I think it said quartz stones, like round stones, and by rubbing it, it changes the outer texture and gives it this really cool sheen, and then refire it. And so what that does is it makes the crystalline structure within the ceramics incredibly brittle, which obviously is why I had to repair a lot, and that's one of the reasons that you don't want to use it for food, because it's just a brittle, awkward thing, but it's great for art objects. Whereas if you just want to, like, eat off of it, then you don't do that extra step, you just fire it straight. And then you get gray pottery, which is still pretty cool. And, you know, that stuff's totally fine. So it is not, in fact, unsafe. It is impractical, which is a little different. But I just want to clear that up and show off a really cool piece of Mexican art. So, this guy is in fine shape. I just wanted to show it off. Okay. So, I was sanding this when my feed first started. And so this guy is a one wooden chopstick that has come apart a couple of times throughout its life. This particular junction just keeps giving me trouble. And so I just filed off a bunch of the extra adhesive, but I think I've actually made it slightly misshapen, so I'm going to file this, try to flatten it, so I get a closer bond. And it's just the decorative end, so it's not, like, the biggest deal. But, you know, you want that stuff to be flat. Okay, fine. Let me... If I do this, does this help? I'm going to be critiquing my camera angle. Actually, that looks... I think we've hit fine. I'm going to call that fine. Okay. So I'm going to get another piece of high quality... Ooh. High quality mixing board. And... Oh man. There we go. There's a little bit of wood glue. And I know this stuff's good. I've used it a bunch recently, and it's fine. So I don't need to use an actual ton. I do want it to kind of fill in. These chopsticks have broken, I don't know, 400 or 500 times. And it's just the decorative end, so it kind of doesn't matter. Like, you can still eat with these, but it's nice if it's together. This is a set of 2 chopsticks. There's these that are square, and then I have, the other set is round. And the round set has broken, like, twice, but for some reason they just seem to work better. The square ones are a little too fancy. Who knew? Ooh, almost. Ah, this is working out so much better than that epoxy. Yay. I can tell it's almost set. And then the final thing I'm repairing is really fun. It's something that I've missed that's been broken for a minute, and it's one of those projects that you look at and you're like, no, there's too many steps, I give up instantly. Kind of over and over again, whereas like gluing a chopstick, I'm going to be done in 2 minutes, and I could have done this any old time. Alright. Let's see. Alright, so there's a bit of a gap, which I'm not super thrilled about. This will probably break again. That's okay. For the moment, yeah, guys, together. Alright, I'll move this for a second to fully present my cute thing. Boom. So, to continue the Oaxaca theme, because apparently I have a lot of Oaxacan crafts and art, this is an alebrije, and so it's a dream animal. Although, a lot of the artists in that town, which I'm totally forgetting the name of that particular town. Dear moderator, if you feel like looking that town name up and posting it, I would sure appreciate that. But they've gone from making these fantastical, crazy, non-real dream animals to often representational critters. So, this guy is a favorite of mine, and took a header off of a shelf. And so now I get to put these back on. And so, if anybody wants to guess what this critter is, I wonder if it's particularly obvious. Let's see what I can figure out here. Some of these are not broken. Some of them just have to go back in. So... Here, let's make a pile of broken, not broken. Good start. I'm actually delighted to see how many not broken pieces there are. So that's one of those things that made this project extra, like, sad. Is like, oh, the whole thing's broken. But no, it's not. I would say it's slightly under half, so maybe a third of them are broken. Which, you know, is not great, but it's fine. So normally I wouldn't want to glue something into one of these models, because if I'm moving it, it's nice to be able to pull out the little wooden extra pieces and then, you know, package it. But unfortunately, I've got a couple of these that are broken off inside of the body, which I'm not super happy about. So I'm going to have to just glue those into place, which is fine. But, oh hey, check it out. The name of the artist. So if anybody is bumping around Oaxaca and would like one of these, Juanito Melchor is there for your brightly painted wooden needs. Alright, well, these are probably the two back here, because they're the two biggest, and the largest scales are going to go back here. Those are the only ones that are broken off. Oh no, there's one broken off into place up here too. This is a lot of damage. It is disheartening. Okay, that one feels more or less like it goes there. This guy's so broken. This one looks like it twisted. I wonder if it comes out. You know what? Let me grab a set of pliers. Why not? So if I could actually get this out, I'd prefer to do so. So... Nah. I don't think that's moving. Nah. Okay. Nope, that's not working. And then I've got... Okay, so those two I think are broken off in here. That one's not broken. It doesn't need to be there. And then I've got this guy up here. And then these two little bases. So what do these guys go to? Oh, well, that was easy. That definitely goes there. Oh, heck, I'm just gluing this one right away. I will take the win. And with wood glue, you just do not need a ton of glue. Yeah, okay, so I've got that base back in there. Cool, easy, good. That's one. What the hey does this go to? Oh, wow. This looks like it fits onto here, but it's like real shattered. Maybe? Well, when it doesn't go on the things I think it's going to go on, I will try it on the ones I don't think it goes on. And it goes on this. Okay, that is not my expectation. Cool, rock and roll. Alright, so I'm going to glue that guy on. Yeah, that was a perfect moment of I thought I knew how this was going to go together and I was wrong. But that's okay. Okay. So, prepared two of those bases, which means that these three appear to be my my missing pieces. So does this guy just go up here? Yep. So, okay, so I had it wrong. These two back here are apparently smaller. Yep, that one goes there, and by process of elimination... That does go there. Okay, so I'm going to glue these two on first, and then I'll do the one in front. So just a little bit of glue Again, I think it's too bad I probably won't be able to get this back out of here in the future, but... Take a moment to confirm. Yeah, you go there. So you go here. And it just fits. I love gluing broken wood because it's so fibery. You've got all these fiber bits that are just sticking up, waiting to exactly mesh back with the fibery bits on the opposite piece. And it tends to go really well. And kind of like when I was doing the ceramics, gluing wood works way, way, way better the first time. If you re-break it, then you've changed its state, so it's no longer a bunch of thin wood fibers. It's just a whole bunch of whatever sticking out. That doesn't seem to line up as nicely, and it feels more like you're gluing ceramic. Alright, so this guy goes here. Feel pretty good about that. Alrighty. And so those are the ones that were broken in place. I obviously don't really want to put the two that I just glued back in. I'll let those dry separately, but then I can put the rest of these guys in and get it to be full cute again. So I just have to remember how to do that, because it's a little bit of a puzzle. So I'm going to start with the small pieces and work my way back up. The fun thing with Alebrijes is there tends to be the right piece. So when the artisan originally made it, they hand cut each piece to fit wherever they're going to fit. And so it usually feels right, you know, or not, as you're putting it together. So far, that's looking okay. All right. We got a lot of art in Mexico. That's one of the big reasons we went to Oaxaca, was food and art. You want to get your mole on, you go to Oaxaca, and then there's so many different villages that have different specific local specialties in terms of like handicrafts, and so Alebrijes come from one specific village, and a lot of the different ceramics come from their own specific village. So we brought back just an actual ton of stuff, and most of it came through okay. We had an unfired green ceramic that broke a little, and I glued that back together, and that still looks great. And I had a wooden hairbrush, or like a wooden comb, that broke, but a bunch of other stuff didn't. Okay, so it looks like the two other pieces that broke all broke on this side, so there's probably, you know, the impact side. That looks a little different. Oh, that's interesting. Two of these pieces are slightly different. So all of the pieces have this little silvery firework spiral on them, but two of the pieces that are like at the top of the animal's back have a blue extra fancy spiral. So I definitely know where that guy goes. So anyway, I will not put these two pieces back in, but my Stegosaurus from Oaxaca is now back together. I had missed it, and so I'm really glad to get that out of the way. I'd been putting that off for way too long, so I'm glad to have that guy back. Okay. So that was an hour, and that was all of the things that I specifically was planning on repairing, even though one of them didn't work. Which is fine. So I have a couple of different projects that I could potentially work on. I actually wrote this down. Let me look at my list. Alright, so we have fixed stuff with JB Weld, and we have fixed stuff with wood glue. Let's see. I don't have enough umbrellas to fix right now. I do want to make candles from recycled wax, but I have to get a hot plate. Oh, that man, I've got some good things on here. I'll have to show you guys at some point. All right, then basically the two other projects I could work on for the rest of this stream, if anybody has any preferences. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Here, I'll put the Stegosaurus back on for that particular small human while I muse. I can either put together a tiny model of a Star Wars ship made out of laser cut metal that I've been wanting to do for a while, or I can pull the support struts out of a 3D printed alligator skull. Do any of my viewers have any preference on these two choices? So, tiny metal spaceship or plastic alligator skull? And I will have a drink of water while you guys think about it. Ooh, I've got one vote for spaceship. Anybody want to counter that? Everybody cool if I put together a tiny model spaceship? So, future streams, I'm going to have more supplies. Like I said, I actually am thinking of making candles. Alright, I got 2 for spaceship. So, real quick story, and then I'll go get that. When I was a volunteer coordinator at the Nature Museum, I also was occasionally managing students, and I had a day where I had 2 high school students, and we kind of ran out of stuff to do. And so we went to my big bin of projects that I, kept for just such an occurrence. And I was like, okay, guys, I have like 4 dozen little glass votive holders full of the remnants of old candles. Here's a couple of dull butter knives. Can you scrape the wax out of there? They had the best time. They spent all afternoon prying all this old wax out of these little votive holders, which means I got a bunch of clean votive holders, which was wonderful to have available, and 3 pounds of old wax chunks, which I decided to keep. And so at some point, I need a hot plate in here so that I can melt those down and recycle them into fresh candles. So now, let's go get a tiny spaceship. Okay. So, I'm actually going to change the stream info to... So it's a Metal Earth 3D metal model kit. And it is a Special Forces TIE Fighter. I'm just going to write TIE Fighter. Alright. We'll still keep that under Makers and Crafting. Looks good. Okay, so now I have that information. Or did it not save? Oh, it didn't save. Ha! Not cool. Okay. Stream update successful. Okay, now we have that properly updated. Okay. So, I love these little models. These are really cool. I've only done one so far, but they are just really, really casual and therapeutic to put together. Step 1, though, how to open the tiny bin. I think the top comes in. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright, ages 14 and up, if you have the patience for it. Okay. So, these are so good. Look at all of these, like, exquisitely laser-etched little things. Like, they're so pretty, they're so shiny, they're so satisfying. So, I gotta punch out all the pieces, and then they're just held together with little metal tabs. It's really easy peasy. So I've already got my needle nose pliers over here. So that part's pretty simple. Let's get the big pieces out. Makes a nice tinny sound. So the model like this that I've done before was a Ferris wheel. So it had a lot of repetitive parts. The TIE Fighter obviously is symmetrical, but it's not going to be quite as repetitive as making all the little gondolas that hang off of a Ferris wheel. So kind of looking forward to that. Okay. What is the actual term for these big parts? Are they wings? Are they nacelles? On here, 18. Let's see if they have a description for the part. Nope, they just have numbers. Well, whatever, big wing things. Whatever the TIE Fighter side things are. So I want to be really careful pulling this out because if I wiggle it too much, I can just bend the metal. And the metal is actually slightly bent just from the life of being in a flat pack on my shelf. And or at the store where it originated. But, you know, no reason to fatigue the metal even more if I can possibly help it. Once I get the big pieces out, the other, if I recall, the other ones kind of come out really easily because I have a little more play in the metal. These have a really clear inside-outside or front-back. Yeah, I want to flatten that a little bit. So, like, you have all the detail-y, like, electronics-looking stuff. Ooh, my angle's a little weird. And then on the other side, it's just, like, shiny, shiny metal. So, pretty clear what they want me to do with that. Oh, there's so many pretty things on here. Man, yeah, some of these pieces are not going to want to come off easily. And I can't always, like, cut through the sides if I really want to. But the intention is that you can just bend them loose. So I'd rather do that if I possibly can. There we go. Well, it's starting to go. There we go. I don't even know what this piece is. Some sort of internal support thing. Not as cool looking as the whole wings, but that's fine. Not every piece has to be. It takes a lot to build a ship. I like doing little modeling kits every once in a while because it's kind of fun to see how somebody else thought of putting something together by multiple pieces because they're not just selling you a completed thing. You get to see how they thought about the supports and how they thought about mimicking this thing that was in a movie or, you know, even that was on like a real thing, like the actual space shuttles or what have you, that they have to then render down into laser cut metal or plastic or whatever. So there's a real art to interpreting that 3D, you know, original into something that can be, in this case, made into flat sheets and fit into a little cardboard sleeve and then assembled by some rando like me. Okay, I got that out. Wow, this one had a lot of bend points, so it's already really bent, but it's obviously supposed to be. And you can tell this is going to be a complicated piece because there's arrows etched into it. So they had a hard enough time explaining how to do this that they needed to add arrows. So that's intimidating. Good, good, pip, pip. Oh, there's some really small pieces. Let me... Actually, I can just use this. Nope, that's gross. I can do better. I'm going to put my small pieces into a cup so that I am less likely to lose them. Because some of these are so little, they seem like the sort of thing that you would sneeze or laugh. Like, look at this tiny little guy. That's exactly the sort of thing that you sneeze or laugh, and it just goes flying off into the oblivion, and I don't really need that, so. Would rather have that functioning. Okay. Wow, yeah, this has some fine pieces. Oh, this is exciting. What a cool little model. I'm glad you guys wanted me to work on this. This is fun. Yeah, this is like a tiny little ray gun. Maybe. Oh, no, go back. Part of a ray gun. That's fun. And I think this is, like, supposed to be steel, right? Yeah. Museum quality 3D models from steel sheets. So, I guess the leftovers of this are recyclable. No, not bad. Yeah, Chardon Mom, on Sunday I am making shakshuka. So baked eggs in tomato sauce. Yeah, I just picked out the recipe yesterday, so I haven't put it up yet. So I will get that up. Not all of my recipes are going to be as crazy as making my own cheese for palak paneer. Shakshuka is actually fairly straightforward, but really good. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh man, they use up all the space. Like, there's little tiny elements in these corners I can't forget. Actually, let's check the directions. What do they want me to actually put together first? They want... Wow. Where are some of these pieces? Okay, these guys. This is kind of like a really prime intro piece. And there are two of these, so let me get the other one of these out before I clean this whole sheet. And actually, Chardon Mom, to answer your question, let me see if I can just grab that link to what I'm planning on cooking on Sunday, because it's real good looking. Okay, boop. And boop. Bam. Alright, so that is what I'm planning on making on Sunday. With the additional twist of, instead of using canned tomatoes, I'm going to use fresh tomatoes and cook them down first into a nice kind of sauce base that then I could make the rest of that with. And actually, the eggs I'm going to use, I just picked up yesterday from a friend of mine who lives out in the suburbs. Turns out on the land her family has owned for 5 generations, I believe she said. And so while they are not farmers any longer in the full sense, they do have chickens. So I got nice fresh eggs yesterday from them. And she kept the chickens locked up because apparently their rooster is particularly kind of a fighty jerk. Which, I don't know, I think I could take him. He only came up to my knee. But, you know, I appreciated the caution for everybody's sake. He was very pretty. As roosters tend to be. Oh, and man, they have a rescued, what's it called? Silky chicken? So a silky chicken are the chickens you may have seen that look like fuzzballs. They're instead of having a classic feather-looking feather, their feathers are really fine and almost hair-like. And so this chicken is real cute. And her name is Cotton. And she was a good girl. Alright, I need that other corner piece. Okay. So there's, oh, these little, aha. All right, so these little dudes are like the internal support pieces on these kind of inner structural things. Looks like I need 2 of them per, so there's 1. I think I have 1 in here. Yeah, I do. Okay, 2. And then I got the other 2 on here. Oh, nice! I'm glad to hear it. Fresh eggs for everybody from their favorite farmers. Your favorite farmer is more of a farmer than my friend is, but they keep chickens, so it counts. Alright, so I have these little pieces. And so you can kind of see on these, they have score marks. And so I actually have to bend it along those really minute little score marks to make like a little pod shape. And this is why this is a patience test. Because you want to, you know, not mess it up completely. That's 1. And that's 2. So back thing. 3. And these are supposed to actually kind of come together to make like a little enclosed flat-sided dude. Oh, a little too far on that side. Wow, this makes my needle nose pliers look just gargantuan, which is silly because they're not. Alright. Alright, so now I have this little teeny structure that I need 4 of these total. So I'll go ahead and finish making those. There's 1. Man. Well, luckily doing this once, it goes a lot faster. It's just like, oh yeah, I bend these things. Doop, doop, doop. It is bent. Alright, 2. I love these little flary embellishments too. Yes, I would love more jewelry making tools. Not that I'm particularly planning on making jewelry, but gosh, they're a good size. It's so funny how, like, things will have names, like this is a jewelry making tool, but obviously we're talking about using it for tiny modeling, and I had tinier pliers, I'd be using them for taxidermy inevitably, because everything for me comes back down to doing the taxidermy, because it's sculpture, so you need more toys to be able to sculpt the things, whatever the thing is that at the moment is the most useful. Alright, almost. In my lab at the museum, I had just the strangest stuff that I had picked up at various points. Like, somebody had left a wooden spatula, I guess, on a trail next to the pond in the middle of Chicago, in Lincoln Park. And so it's this wooden spatula that's been ground into the dirt. Like, people have been walking on it, so it was super muddy and gross. And you know all that mud is, like, soaked into the wood, so you don't ever want to actually stir your stir fry or your pasta with that, because it's a little too much. But I loved having that in the lab, because then I just had a stick with a flat end. You could do all manner of stuff with it. I could, you know, get things off of high shelves with it. I could prop stuff up with it. It was great. It was kind of slotted, so I could fish things out of fluid with it. I had a couple different butter knives. People always kind of laughed when they came across my butter knives, and I'm like, no, man. Butter knives. They're useful. I had the world's sharpest spoon. I had found after a catered event at the museum, and it was awful. Like, and it was just a spoon. Like, it didn't look like anything in particularly happened to it. Oh, yeah, I bet a kid totally took that spatula with him on a walk and then dropped it because they picked up a more interesting stick. But I found this spoon where the front edge, like the part you would interact with food with, was, I think because it was so cheaply made, like when they stamped it out at the factory, oh, it was horrible. And so it's great for like scooping clay. You know, it just slices right through the clay. It's good stuff. But kind of a nightmare if you think about actually putting it in your mouth. Okay, so these little guys on here. Is this the right piece? I find myself filled with doubt. Oh, I don't think this is the right piece. Ha 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 ha! My doubt was based in reality. Okay, so here they are. These are actually smaller pieces. I gotta get out of this big sheet. Walking around Lincoln Park is really fun because there's a humongous number of small children there, presumably dropping all sorts of things. So you find like toys and pieces of toys, and then just weird stuff like I was out picking up trash and we found someone's memento photo that they'd gotten at a magical, like a magician's act. And so I got to see the whole family, and I was like, I don't know how I would return this to somebody, or why it's in the middle of, like, along the street. Like, did they set it on top of their car and it blew off? I don't know. Okay, so this is the piece I was actually looking for. Let me get the second one of these, so I can just have this ready. There's just so many people passing through Lincoln Park that it's just paved in strange mementos. And that's before you even get to the actual animals. You're like, oh, snapping turtle, hello. Right. Okay, so let go. Okay. So I got those two pieces. So with these dudes, that implies that those move. Okay. Yes. Okay. I will attempt to point this out. Okay, so on this guy, there's the little holes along here that I'm trying to set this in with the slope facing inward. Man. Oh, they're so little. This is going to be so cool. Awesome sauce, little model. So my pieces aren't exactly up and down, which makes them a little difficult, but I accept. Ooh, does it show? Man. Yeah, I think I want it on that side. Okay. I think it goes on the inside. The part with no additional etching. We shall see. So this is extra hard sometimes because if there's any little bit of hanging metal on the pieces that I'm trying to get through the tiny, tiny little holes, they don't really want to fit. And of course, you know, ginormous human hands. Things that are not helping my case at this moment. I can feel it's almost there. Almost wants to fit. There we go. so it's the very, very first piece connected on this little friend. Okay. Well, here's hoping I've got it in the right orientation. It's a little hard to tell from the instructions, so I am not going to spend overly too much time being concerned. Especially because I think this is just a structural piece, so I'll move on with my day. So once you get your little pieces in, you lock them into place by grabbing the pins and turning them 90 degrees. And then they are locked. Which means that editing after you get it in is not really a thing. You gotta be pretty hopeful, pretty confident that you've got them in the right spot. But I am a hopeful, confident person, so we are good there. Woo! And of course the side that went in faster is being slightly slippery. There we go. Alright, so I've got those guys in place. I'm doing it on this one. Just having these at the slightest weird angle. So teeny. Once you get to one of the big pieces, it goes so much faster than these little ones. But the little ones make the whole thing worth it because they're the details that make it exquisite. You know, they really make it stand out, which I appreciate. Okay, that one's almost in. So I haven't fully decided what I want to tinker with next week, because a lot of the things I will need to get additional stoof. I might play with those candles though. Although actually that might be good to do if the weather's going to be specifically... No, this is not a model that can be put together by a small child. These are unforgiving. But if the weather is cooperative and I can open windows, it might be a good time to do that weird candle project. I just have to buy, you know, wicks and stuff. But then I'll get a whole bunch of candles, which, sweet, you know. Now that I no longer have a pet bird. She was a good bird. She lived out her whole life. But that means I can, you know, burn scented candles without having to worry about her lung health. Because birds, they're basically just one big lung. You know, as you do. But yeah, no, Chardon Mom, these are nuts. These are 3D models that are not meant to go fast. They are meant for patience. But then you get this like super delicate little thing when you're done, which is so cool. Wow, one side does not want to go in. Come on, man. Work with me. There we go. I just had to ask. Totally reasonable. So I got that one on. So might as well lock that on. The locking thing is nice because it is cool to have the pieces then not wiggle at all. I don't have to worry about, you know, having it fall out while I'm working on some other area. It's just in. Which I think is a nice design. And for the really small pieces, I didn't check on this one, but there's usually a few extras because they anticipate, you know, this part might get lost, or you might bend this and just smoosh it, or whatever. Smoosh, of course, being a technical term. I don't know if you could hear the satisfying plink when that fell on some of the other metal, but it was a nice sound. Ah, I thought I had both in there and I was wrong. Totally wrong. Still wrong. Come on, man. Oh, it doesn't look like this one should be giving me hassle. It looks up and down from my point of view. But, you know, the tiny pieces of metal did not ask me for my opinion. It's okay, tiny pieces of metal. I'll give you my opinion anyway. Yeah, those other ones were really well. Oop. Let me look at this guy again. I guess I could make that tighter. It's always funny when you're adjusting metal that's this small because what you're doing feels like it didn't do anything, but it makes a huge difference. This is when it's really nice to work with a microscope, because then you can see those ginormous changes that you just made to that absurdly small whatever it is. But sadly, I have no microscope. It's crazy the stuff you get used to in, like, you know, a museum lab. Like, microscope, I've got two. They were both built in the 60s, but, you know, they're mine. You can use them to look at something at ×1 magnification. Oh, okay, there we go. Got that. So I'll lock those guys in. Alright, so first set of thingers are together, and then the second pieces are kind of oblong-y. Don't believe I've seen them yet. Oh, okay, I see one. So they're very similar to those first guys, where they're clearly just like 3D elements, and they're not really a major component, but they're there to make this internal part look beefy, which is pretty cool. Alright, so there's one. Oh hey, I found one of the extras of the little guys I already did. It's weird where some of them have 2 contact points and some only have 1 that I have to break when I'm getting out of here. So. Alright. 2. There's 1. So, Chardon Mom, since I know you like interesting books, my book club is just wrapping up a book called The Magpie Murders, which I may have mentioned to you, I don't recall. I have not finished it yet, but I have hit the suspense, and so now it's like, oh geez, I need to finish this. So, very much something I'm planning on doing for the rest of this weekend is trying to rip my way through the rest of that book, because it's like a nested whodunit. So there's a literary story that's a page-turner whodunit nested in what's supposed to be the real world of people who are reading that story. So there's a little bit of like a never-ending story vibe, but with murder in England. You know, as one does. Okay, so these little guys, you just fold down the sides, and then they go onto those same pieces I've been working with. That gets bent down. But so far I like the book a lot, and it's nice to have a classic murder mystery that is not totally classic. This is a bad sentence. Mixes it up, keeps it fresh. Okay, so yeah. 1. So it's not bending as well. Oh, there we go. My grip is just bad. It's so funny doing this because I could just like obliterate this. My hand strength is not like particularly amazing, but compared to this really thin cut steel, it is. And so like if I just squeeze too hard, at some point I would just crumple the whole piece I'm on. All right, and of course if you bend it too many times back and forth, you fatigue the metal and it just lets go, which I also want to avoid. Okay, cool. I'm glad I thought I had mentioned the book to you, but I couldn't recall for sure. I still haven't finished it, however, I do really like it, so I would offer to loan it to you, but mine is an ebook. And as much as there was kind of the promise that loaning ebooks was going to be a simple, easy thing, it really has not materialized that way. It's too bad. Okay. Alright, so that's 3. And one more of these little support guys. Oh, that one just went. Alright, I got 4 little support dudes. I'll put them back on these. So this little piece has these 2 little embellishments, and now I'm adding more. Taking things that were flat and making them not flat. Okay, so they slope away from the center. I like doing projects like this just because it also keeps me in the habit of working with really fine things, which is another good one if I want to keep my like taxidermy muscles in good shape. I want to keep working with really delicate small things because man, there's a lot of really delicate small things when you're working with critters. Okay, yeah, that's starting to look kind of cool. These pieces are so small that they twist a little bit when I put them in, but that's not bad. I think that's looking like it's supposed to look. So. Okay, next up, I'm doing the thing. Something I like about these is when I drop them, they sparkle, so at least I notice it when it goes. When you're working on fossils, if you have a piece fall off, it's of course a dang piece of rock, and you've been knocking dang pieces of rock off of it all day. So it is a nightmare to find little fragments and put them back onto your fossil. You can do it, but it's incentive to actually clean your workspace occasionally, so that you only have like a tablespoon of rock fragments to go through as opposed to 3 pounds of rock fragments. Not that I've done that. Still no update on getting back into the fossil lab for the year. Might not happen in 2020, which I wouldn't be shocked by, but I miss it. I miss my fossil. My fossil does not miss me. That's okay. 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 So we got a little shape to this. And then these side panels I then fold down. You know, I think I did do this upside down, unfortunately. Oh well. That's not the end. And then they fall down. It's not really clear if it's 90 degrees or not. Let's assume 90 degrees. Alright. And then this back thing. Yeah, so now I've got that kind of shape, which is cool. Yeah, I definitely did this upside down because I think you're supposed to have the interesting carvings differently. Oh, wellsies. So these have to become kind of peaked. And then bent here. These score lines. And that stays straight down. Well, I don't know how well you guys can see that. I had to make almost like a little house shape. I am really interested to see what this piece ends up being, because it's sure complicated. Oh, what did those go to? Oh, I see. Yeah, this is a really cool piece. Oh man, I think I should have bent this inner part down first. Oh well. I'll do better on the next one. And then this whole thing bends along this central line a bit. This bends all the rest of the way. Maybe not too much. And then fold in those sides. Alright, yeah, that's a cool whatever that is. Neat. So I get to do that again. Oh, this one bends a little too far. Alright. So that's a neat whatever that is. Let's do it again. Bilateral symmetry. Pretty useful, also somewhat monotonous. Ooh, that bends a little too far. Oop, I mushed this piece. So, I don't know how well you can see that, but I kind of have it going at like a rhombus more angle than an actual useful angle. So I just straighten these guys back out. So they're equidistant from each other, which is good, because that's how I get it to stick into the element that it's supposed to go into, but if it's also silly, it doesn't do me as much good. Okay, that looks way better. Vast improvement. Okay. So something I'm thinking I might do for future feeds on here is just trying to play around with sculpture at all. I spent a lot of time bending wire, and stick with that. I do now own a chisel kit for wood chiseling, which is pretty exciting. I don't have any wood for it, but and I desperately need to sharpen said chisels. But I might try to go in that direction once I figure out how to sharpen the chisels. Got a couple things there I want to try. But I'm thinking definitely more just like playing around with stuff. Because I'd say that the Saturday taxidermy is kind of the real stuff I want to be doing, but everything else ties in. Even cooking is part of kind of how I think of doing taxidermy stuff. Like, for any of my people who have ever worked with me in one of the prep labs, we talk about food the whole time. Like, you're doing taxidermy, you're talking about food. It's inevitable. And it doesn't matter if you eat meat or not. Like, a lot of specimen prep people I know are vegan or vegetarian. But you're sitting around together chopping stuff up. You know, and people just like to talk about similes. So, oh, the texture of this reminds me of blah, 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 blah. We did it in the fossil lab too a little bit too. You know, this fossil matrix kind of reminds me of broken breadcrumbs. You know, oh no, this one's much more like broken saltines. Ooh, you're right. You know, it's almost got a chocolatey texture. Oh yeah, it's got that smooth chocolatey texture. And we're talking about rocks, you know, and when you're doing fresh specimen prep, same thing. Like, oh, this stuff is really, you know, kind of pink and kind of reminds me of this type of fruit. Or this bird's brain has dried out so much that it looks like couch cushions. That comes up a lot, actually. Couch cushion brain is real common. And gross every time. But anybody who's ever, you know, had a hole in a couch and you get that yellow, crumbly couch cushion material, bird brains. There you go. That's my gift to you for today. Okay, so I've got these elements on here. And so now I need to bend it so we match that 3D shape that little guy had. Man, thinking about all those weird taxidermy similes, I'm really looking forward to that. The conversation in taxidermy labs is just funny. Because you're all doing a kind of odd thing. Fossil lab, there just wasn't as much conversation because what you're doing is loud. Oh yeah, no, conversation is the thing. But when you're in the fossil lab, everything's loud. People are working with air scribes and micro jackhammers and things of that sort, and or just concentrating real closely to what you're doing with your, you know, 270 million year old thinger. So the conversation in the fossil lab tended to be when people take breaks, which would be kind of random. Someone would be like, hey, you know, so I'm waiting for this glue to dry. Have you seen any good movies? You know, so there's that. And so we would, you know, chat and hang out, but it's not the same as with taxidermy, because taxidermy is actually quite quiet, but also very engaging and weird. And you get these squeals of, oh, this is so gross, which it really doesn't matter how long someone's been doing specimen prep. There's a time and a place to squeal out, oh my god, this is so gross. Harkening back to the couch cushion bird brains would be a great example of that. So, okay. So there, I've got two of whatever these little structures are. Did I do that upside down? I may have done that upside down. I did this one upside down. Okay, so here's my trick, is can I write this orientation of these pieces without fatiguing the metal so much that they let go? I think the answer is probably yes, but, you know, not ideal. When I drove out to Wheaton, Illinois yesterday to get my farm fresh eggs, among other things, I actually almost missed a exit because I was thinking about specifics for doing the taxidermy on Saturday. So it's definitely on my mind. Hopefully it'll be cool. Because, man, I miss doing the live taxidermy demos on the museum floor. It was fun. But, you know, things are not open right now, and they shouldn't be, and I'm okay with that. know, it's a bummer. I do still miss it, even if I'm glad that people are being safe and making safe decisions. And the dead stuff will wait for us. Dead birds in a freezer have a little bit more of a timer on them than the fossils in the geology lab. You know, because like my Dicynodont fossil has been waiting for me for 240 million years. So it don't care. It'll wait, 10 more years and there'll be no appreciable difference. But the birds in the freezer will get funky. Freezer burn is real. It is a thing. So I did get to skin a beaver in June, which was quite fun. So we didn't have enough time, again, because of everything being shut down, to finish it. So I didn't stuff said beaver or prep anything. All the pieces are just back in the freezer. But at least it's not a giant 52-pound beaver. Which, P.S., just don't pick fights with a beaver. They're really big. Okay. There, now those match. Okay. My bad. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now I need these guys that I popped out earlier. No, come back. This one, they actually tell me which side is out, so I'm supposed to have the mirror finish be the part that is facing outward. And I actually curl it into a tube, which is nuts. Okay, so this flat piece has to become an even tube. That's going to be cool. And then this tab is then supposed to go into this little looped slot. So wish me luck on this. Jeez. So now all these little striations make a lot of sense because they give you, evenly spaced bend points, which is cool. Like, that's a good design, but yay. Trying to make this even. It's halfway there. It's starting to look like a tube. It's only flattish in the wrong places, sort of. It's alright. It's alright. No, come on. Wow. Okay, how do they want that tube? They don't even say. They're like, good luck, it doesn't make sense. Thanks, model. Okay, because that's starting to be tubey. Feeling not terrible about that. Could be better. Not terrible. Okay, I think I need to have the little tab A slot B sticking outward so I can lock it. Even though it would look cool if I got it on the inside. So that's through there. And then it's locked. Okay. That's arguably an even little tube. I'm not completely unhappy with that. Yeah, that's not bad. And then this guy goes on here, down here. Okay, so this little circle has 6 holes around it. I see which ones this guy goes into. Okay, I got it even enough that those pieces just went through, so I feel good there. So I'll twist that off. Twist that off. Okay, well, that's a neat, important looking little piece. Let's do that again. For sure. Pseudonym, thank you very much for the update. First page results of my category. So for those who are new to Twitch Twitch moves you up in the search results based on how long that day you've been streaming and how many viewers you have. And I think other things like number of followers and number of previous streams and stuff probably factor into a degree, but they really, the longer you're on and the more people who have already proven that you're worth watching, the higher the platform ranks you so other people know to go look. So, thank you, dear moderator, for that nice news. Hey guys, we're so cool. I'll take that. Alright. So that's... Now that I'm a little more confident with these tubes, I'm feeling good about how they're coming together. All sorts of stuff. Alright, so I need to get that tab through that again, because that worked out pretty well last time. Alright, and locked. Okay. Ah, drop that. Okay, so yeah, I have another cool little tube. Put my cool little tube, my cool little dude. Alright. Yeah, no, I've been curling these pretty well because then these pieces line up really nicely, so I feel good about that. Yeah, this is good practice. I'm glad I'm doing... I'm glad you guys voted for me to work on this today, because this is a good prep before I start doing taxidermy on Saturday. Get my fine motor practice in. Alright, so that's two nice little doodads. Next up, piece number 5, which I have not pulled any of those out yet. For anybody who is just tuning in, this is a 3D model kit for a TIE fighter. So I've got my TIE cells. If anybody has a good term for these, let me know. Is it a wing? Is it a nacelle? Is it just a cell? Is it a solar panel? Terminology is good. Lucasfilms, I'm sure, has an actual answer to that because they care, but I don't have that on me. So I'm getting my next piece out of here. Chardon Mom, good question. Kind of depends on what you're into. I've found a couple other people on Twitch who I really like. I like the idea of Twitcher. Thank you, Pseudonine. Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to recommend. Malice in Wonderland is delightful. She streams making dresses, and she was specifically showcasing different irons the other day, which I thought was just great. She's like, here's these weird vintage irons. And they weren't that great. A lot of them just got too hot, but it was still a cool feed. So hers is really good. And then if you want to watch people play games, there's a lot of really good ones. You've got big heavy hitters, people like Day9, who have been on forever. Or even just, there's streams, there's channels that are kind of multiple people, so it's one idea, multiple people doing the stream. So like Gen Con has one, things like that. Pseudonine does a stream of a game called No Man's Sky, which is very, very, very pretty, and mellow for the most part. So yeah, there's a lot of good options, lots of good streams out there. Yeah. Yeah, so Pseudonine, plug that away. Okay, so these guys get curled again, but they're supposed to be a little more faceted. So there's not really a distinct inside-outside to these particular pieces, which is fine. Okay, done just the most equal angle on there. Again. Oh yeah. Going back to what Not Here said, having jewelry pliers would be really good for this. It's hard not to flatten out my previous joints. Okay, there we go. So that's a little this one's a faceted column instead of being a smooth round column. And so this goes on the top of these guys. Oh, that's satisfying. Oh man, how am I supposed to get my pliers into there? Okay, well, here. Nope, I'm gonna have to use a screwdriver on that. I'll just bend those out. I don't think there's a good way to twist them. Come on, friend. Okay, here's where the minute differences of this, like, initial little tube not being perfectly round is really coming up because it's pushing it, or it's touching this other piece that I would like to get out. Man, I might need a knife. No. I will just skip past that one and do the other ones. That looks okay. Yeah. Can I actually lock these? Kinda, yeah. Man. Okay, I might not be able to lock all 4 things on here without it being just a mess. Because I don't have a knife. Yeah, I don't have a knife right on me. So, you know what? We're just going to let that go. Again, looking like a thing. I do not know what that thing is yet, but it looks like a thing. So, take it. Making another one of these faceted tubes. So little and delicate. Okay, so more or less. And then put that guy out of here. 2 of those just went in perfectly. Alright, that looks really good. Oh, so satisfying. I love putting these together. These are neat. Okay, so I have to bend these little flanges out. Yeah, I don't know if that one's going to go. Aha! Okay, I got that one. As long as I can get 2 out of these 4, I don't think I have to worry about the rest of it. This is so clearly an internal component, so... Let go? No. Alright. That's a cool little thing. Okay. So now I've got these 2 inner parts. I am going to be just going to go on a limb here and say that they're probably going to hold the wings on. But I guess I don't know that. But they look cool, whatever they're going to be. Okie dokie. So... Oh, that's interesting. They completely reproduced each of these as 2 different steps. This one's A and this one's B. Even though they are pretty identical. Let's see what I missed. Because those are the same. Those are the same. Man, I wish I knew what this went on. Because they're not totally identical. It looks like those other little dudes go on something slightly different. I may have made a mistake, but I don't think it's a horrifying mistake. Okay, so I have... Whoop, no, go back. My fingers dried out. I can't just poke at the pieces and have them stick to the tip of my sweaty human finger. Okay. So it looks like A is complete, but B has one component that's different. Okay. So I'm actually going to remove one of the little end guys here and put this guy on. I think. Is this the right thing? Maybe? Maybe it's that one. What a completely wacky component. Huh, okay. I think I actually want this tall one that's over here, so not that guy. Man, these are delicate. The Ferris wheel that I did of this set, nowhere near this delicate. Pieces were not this tiny. And again, incredibly repetitive because it was a Ferris wheel. Pseudonine, I see what you're saying, but it's not... There's nothing to mirror, I don't think. May have done it wrong. Don't know. I think this is a cosmetic embellishment, but I still want to get it righter. And I don't even know where this attaches. Like, that's the part of this that really has me, is I'm not sure what these pieces are that I'm struggling with. Which is kind of fun, but it does add to the mystery. I don't even know how to get this piece out without just bending it all to heck. Okay. So this is my missing component, I'm pretty sure. Flatten out that absurdly fine piece. So, like, can you guys see how little those pieces are? That's bonkers. It is the right piece, though. I feel good about that. That's bonkers. I'm just gonna keep saying that. This piece is nuts. Okay, so if I bend this like this, and this like this, and this like this, and this over here, becomes some sort of little array. Yeah. Oh, this is a tiny little element. Wacky. Okay. So that that's some sort of crazy little array. Okay. So this guy, I'm going to take one of the other pieces off of here, but I want to make sure I've got it at the right angle. So if the big piece is towards me, it's this one that has to come off. And there are backups of these pieces, so if I ruin this taking it off, that's sad. I don't want to, but it'll be okay. Man. Okay. And wow, so teeny. Okay. Okay. Let's cut that piece back off. There we go. Okay, so that one I'm going to put in my little extra cup. And then this thingy... Where's that angles? Okay, so that goes here like this. Well, it looks really cool. Sticking up there being huge. Yeah, because you get that guy on, and then it's the same other pieces. I don't think this will be a problem that I biffed that. I think I was able to get enough of a fix in, so... Just have to lock it in. So, Shard and Mom, to go back to your question about Twitch streamers, I actually don't know a lot of people who are streaming on Twitch with any regularity. I feel it's a potentially growing field, a growth area. I know mostly, like, big organizations, so Gen Con being the one that I most often opt into. They've been streaming board games and all manner of wacky, cool stuff. And so it's lots of different people working for Gen Con LLC doing that, which is nice. So it's more like almost a classic TV channel in that sense, where you come in at different times, you see different programs. Okay. So there's that wacky little array. So, okay. So I've got A and B. My bad. Should have read ahead more. Didn't. But that's okay. So... Oh, cool. Okay, so... These guys are next. These are actually they curl around and become the little ball that's the pilot area for the TIE Fighter. So that's real cool. So 7 and 8 are different. So... Oh, that's bonkers! Okay, I can see this. These are identical, except there's arrows here that point in different directions. And so piece number 7 points up. This is number 7. And piece number 8 points down. So this one I'll do second. So this is piece number 7. That's insane. And I curl it into the ball is my first thing. So I'm taking this flat object and I'm making something round with it, which is very exciting. And it doesn't give me a lot of tips on how to do that, so just keep bending. It does recommend doing the center part first, which is what I'm on here. So this is cool. Okay. Bend these guys around. And as usual, I'm bending it only a little bit at first as I'm getting the feel for it, and then I can always tighten it up. I don't want to overcommit on my first bend. One of life's many lessons. Don't overcommit on your first bend. I don't know what that means. But it sounds deep. Okay, well that's already starting to look pretty darn cool, so let's do that some more. Oh, this is so cool. Okay. So we're starting to get the ball shape. That's starting to kind of stand out. Okay, and I can see there's tabs here I'm going to have to slot in. And I learned from... Well, I could probably do them on the inside. I don't know, I think I'm overthinking it. So I shouldn't just make it happen. Okay. Oh man, come on. Aha. I'm gonna lock that guy into place right away. Not have to repeat that work. Okay, that's cool. And then let's do this other side. A little tab, I think I bent down on this one. Bent down incorrectly. We're all about bending little tabs here. Okay. There we go. Alright, and lock that one. Okay, yeah, that's ball-like. It's reasonably cool. Very flashy, very disco ball. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Let's do the other one, which is here. Oh man, how do I not lose track of this though? No, okay, I'm not doing this one yet because I don't want to lose track. So this is still piece number 7. Oh, crazy. Okay, I see where this is. Okay, so this is dude number A. Number A? Number A. And you bend the pieces down away from... Yeah. So these bend this way. Okay. And go into this guy where the arrow points up. Okay, so here's my up-facing arrow. And these go here. Oh, this is nuts. Trying to make something round. That's crazy pants. Okay, so that goes there. And then this guy, I think, tabs in. Yeah. These actually go into something. So there's 4 Ooh, there we go. 4 connection points here to make this real strong because it's going to actually hold those wings on. Ow. P.S. This is very pointy. Alright, so 1, 2, 3. Can I get the 4th one in? Kind of no. Kind of doesn't want to. Nope. Okay, let's do it from the other direction. 1, 2, 3. I wonder if I have this curve too far. Let me uncurve that a bit. Try that again. For 1. Whoop. So bendy. 2, 3. Oh, this last... There, 4. Ha ha ha. Okay. All 4 of those are in. I just have to lock them without dropping it. Because I would be sad. There would be sadness. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ha ha ha. Okay. And then this guy bends down here. Okay, that looks super neat. That's a cool little half a tie. Yeah, so that first weird flat piece I had has utterly changed into an element of this support strut, which is super, super neat. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do the next one without bending that little array? There's an answer to that. The answer is, of course, to be really careful, but lordy. Okay, so this is piece A. So piece A is going to go off to the side. Piece B is these two guys. And so this one becomes the ball again. Easy peasy. Okay, that little, this guy is the communications array on the tie. Now I can actually see which part I'm looking at. That's cool. Yeah, it's real small. I will do my best to not screw this up too much. Okay. So let's go back to making this into a ball. So we're over the 2 hours, but I'm kind of on a roll here. So what I think I might do is get this second piece assembled, because these are really nice. But then I might call it for the day. I don't want to go for too long and get where I'm pushing it to try and get to the end, because I don't want to screw this up. It's so delicate. So I might, I think by 3:45 I might wrap up. Might make it to 4. We'll see. Ooh, this side is different. The artwork, I don't know how well you can see it. The artwork that's etched, laser etched onto there is a little more distinct. You go over there. I can already tell I'm getting tired just because I feel like I'm chatting less. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, let me know. But I find myself really focusing on this particular project, which is fine. I mean, it's a really detailed little project, but it's not as interesting if I'm quiet. So I can tell you that going out to visit my friend who had the chickens was pretty exciting, because she has an absolute terror shed. It's the sort of thing that, like, neighborhood kids would discover and all freak out. It's wonderful. Where she has a dermestid beetle colony that clean all the flesh off of bones for her. So I have the best friends. I swear, the people in my life are excellent. Some of them have terror sheds. And the smell is amazing. Absolutely amazing. If anybody has ever had the opportunity to go to the Field Museum, into their beetle room, it's that exact same smell, because it's a specific mix of desiccating, funky old tissue, flesh, with a specific dermestid beetle smell, which I hadn't really realized until I was in her shed, that it's a very specific smell. So I know what those bugs smell like. Which is not a good smell. if anybody was wondering. It's not. But it's a cool thing. And then you get really clean bones out of it. One of the things that I got from her, because she was very kind, is a absolutely shattered opossum skull. So said adorable little opossum sadly met its demise on a road, and my friend found it, and she actually cleaned it up. So it went to the beetles, and the beetles got all the extra tissue off, but the skull was just so shattered that it, it's in rough shape, so I'm going to try and glue that guy back together and see if I can make it look opossum-y again. Okay, yeah, ooh, I like putting these together. That's a fun little mirror ball. Okay, so I've got piece B. Oof. Yeah. And now I have to get that array on without breaking everything. Because I'm so scared about bending this and having it be super awful, but you gotta do it. So, bend these guys down. Whoop, that's probably too far. Good ways. Okay. I also got to pet her dog. I do not get to pet enough dogs in my day. Okay, so the arrow facing up. There's my arrow that is now facing up. The array also faces up. So they pair up like this. Squeeze those a little tighter. So doop. 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 Do I have a fourth dupe? No. Getting that fourth one in there is the real trick of this particular step. I like how this array piece is not totally symmetrical. Like they're staggered a little bit, because so many elements in Star Wars art is non-symmetrical. There's a look. Come on, man. Oh, it sounded good. Did it do a thing? No. Tempted to lock in the other ones and see if I can then mess with this, but I think that's actually the wrong call. Just bend that in. Okay, arrow facing up, arrow facing up. I am glad they have those arrows on there. That was a good bit of planning for this particular fun model. They're like, we know that you will get lost at this step. Hey, okay, I got it. Okay. Two, 3, and 4. Okay. That's cool. And then to put them all together, I got that step done. So this faces up. This arrow faces forward. The other... okay, those two arrows are facing the same. So it needs to go together like that. Oh, I can already tell it's going to be cool. Okie dokie. So... okay, here's where like all of these have to be really even. And let me tell you, they are currently not. I was so focused on those struts that I did not worry if the ball stayed even or not, and the ball did not stay even. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. This goes this way. So I think I actually want these up a little to kind of hook. I don't know, guys. Woo! Throwing this on the ground over and over is not going to help me any. Wow, these are so tight. Okay, does it give me any hints here? Nope. Put them in the thingy. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, instructions. I can put that in the thingy, presumably. Because I can definitely do it this direction for like one, but not both. Does me less good than I really need, so I won't do that. Okay, let me bend these up just a smidgy more. Wow, these just don't want to go in. Like, they can. If I flip it the other way, it just goes. kind of got that one. I think I felt that go. Okay. Those two are in. Before I lock those, though, I want to get this side in. And, wow, my curb is really tight, and something weird happened. Okay. It's definitely starting to look like something. Pull that apart. Pull that apart. I'm gonna really love this when it's actually together. Right. Well, there goes that computer mouse. That's okay, I needed this space anyway. Take that, wireless computer mouse. Okay, 3. Can I get the 4th one in at all? It's the last little bit here. Oh no, I think, yeah. Well, deal with that in a minute. This model is crazy. Oh. I got them all. Okay, that's all of them. That's all 4. So now I just have to lock them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, that's absurd. Look at this cute little thing. Oh, that's so satisfying. That's a neat little model. Okay, that's a neat little model. Whew. Okay, so we have the body together. Let's finish the body. There's little caps that go on the top and the bottom. And then I think I'm gonna call it for today. So the little caps are these super round boys, I believe. And so basically, you know, the artwork on here, they didn't have it because they want you to be able to find those arrows, but you got to cover those up because that's not accurate or attractive. And so they made these extra bits here to be the attractive, appropriate part. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, so there are 2 of these. One has a circle. Okay, one has a circle and one has 2 lines. 2 lines goes on top, so we'll do that one first. And the front is this end. So I have to bend the 4 tabs directly straight down at right angles, so that's easy. I say that and then I kind of make it... Oh, and I have to make this into a curve. Ha ha ha, that's a little less hard, or less easy. Okay, so before I actually do that, I have to make this into a cup shape. So I think they just want you to bend the whole guy. To just sort of a little bit of a cup. Making flat things round is remarkably counterintuitive. Okay. It's kind of cup shape. Okay, so then from that, I bend these straight down. Whew, yeah, I'm getting tired. This is definitely the last set I'm going to do on here, because I can tell I'm starting to, like, not do the same precision work. I would get this a lot. Taxidermy, for sure, and fossils, big time. Because with fossils, you're looking under a microscope, so if you just decide to, like, do something lazily, it's real obvious and you should stop. So, okay, so this faces me. This is my front. And then the cap. This is my front. So this just fits over here. Oh yeah, no, guys. Woo! We're gonna finish this. It's gonna be okay. But then I need cake and coffee, which I strongly recommend to really everybody. I think it's good for you. Okay, that's funny. Trying to fit that little cap on, these guys are sticking up and are kind of in my way, so I'm going to just crimp that down a smidgy. Okay, so that's the front, that's the front. Oh yeah, that works way better. Not having little towers of metal sticking up in my way. That last one. Seems like there's always one that just is like, nah. You can have 3 connection points, but you can't have 4. Okay, I think that's all of them. Oh wow, getting in here is not simple. Alright, one. Wow, yeah, this is not a straightforward procedure. I'm going to do this from the inside of the ball. It's going, like, I got it. But this is, yeah, again, this model not for kids. This is not even for a lot of adults that I know. Alright, and this last one, which may or may not have come out of that hole. Oh, the angle's just weird. Oh man. Whew. Okay. So I got the top on. It does look cool. I mean, they're not wrong. Alright, let's get the bottom on, and we'll call that a day. So, same gig. I gotta take a flat piece and make it into a kind of a curve. So, kind of bend it from a lot of different directions into a general roundy-ish shape. Okay. So I'm actually being a little rougher on this side because the first time I don't think I was pushing it as hard to be cup-shaped, and that gave me a little bit of hassle. It really wants to be a little cap. So it is. So it was. And then bend the little tabs down so they're straight up and down. As much as I'm going to pull off straight up and down. 1, 2, 3, and ow, that looks bent. It looks bent. I'm bending the whole thing. It looks bent incorrectly. And 4. Okay. So my little cap. And so that goes on the bottom. And okay, so the front, it's got my convenient arrow, which tells me that this is the front. And for this dude, this orientation is front. Right? Oh, right, I forgot to mush these down. I'm like, why is that sitting wrong? I gotta flatten these other pieces out. Alright. And while I'm here... No. Okay, so I got those flat. Now I can do this. So that's the front, that's the front. Oh, wow. Ooh, that one just, like, clicked on. Yes! Okay. So I'm going to tighten these dudes up and wrap it for the day. Yeah, getting in here to lock these is not easy. Luckily, this one feels really good. This one will stay on. The top was a little bit less of a certain win, I think, but this is looking good. Okay. Okay. And last but not least, boom. All right. Well, that is a remarkably attractive little TIE fighter body. Pretty happy about that. Chardon Mom, welcome back. Alright, so I've got the body of the TIE fighter together. And these are all the components, and this is one side of the sheet of paper. So I have done that side, and next time I will do this side of the sheet of instructions. But I don't have any, like, rando pieces sitting around that I'm worried about losing particularly. So I am going to pack this up for right now, but I'm real happy with how this turned out. This is going to be a really great little model. And yeah, I'm glad I'm doing this. I needed the practice with playing with little stuff. So I hope I was able to keep it within the camera view enough for you guys to enjoy while I was working on that. So when I do taxidermy on Saturday, I'm going to try and follow a lot of the same stuff I was practicing today, where I'll have it under the camera and you can see it up close. Because it's taxidermy and thus it's raw meat, it does tend to be a little shiny, but this was a little shiny and I think it worked out. So this was actually really, really good practice, even though one is a dead quail and one is a model TIE fighter. But you look for similarities in life where you find them. So, okay, I'm going to wrap up, but thanks everybody for hanging out with me. If you guys have any problems, you can shoot me messages on Twitch, or if you know me from any of my other various social media things, ask me questions on there. I'm always looking for suggestions on other stuff to work on. So this was a great viewer suggestion from a list that I offered, but if you want to add things to that list or have me work on strange things, please ask me. Because pretty much everything builds skill, it's good practice, and it helps me build up also just a supply of useful materials and stuff I probably should have on hand. So I'll get these guys packaged up for now. So, alright, then I hope everybody has a good rest of your day. Oh, that's right, I can't use my mouse because I threw it on the floor. Ha! Anyway, I can use my onboard mouse. And I hope to see people on Saturday for taxidermy, or if you're not into taxidermy, which is fine, on Sunday morning I will be making shakshuka, which is baked eggs in tomato sauce. So you guys take care, and I will see everybody next time.